G'day, I'm omdevaji, Sheshnag Yoga Center. What on earth is Kundalini? This video is about my visit to the sauna. Shows you a little bit about how much work I've been doing lately and how I turned the interaction consciously into a different dynamic. I like the sauna. I like the solitude, and I like the effect that it has on your mind once you able to know that you have this aversion to discomfort, and then you stay there longer than the discomfort, so you can stay in there for a little bit longer and turn the discomfort into an experience of maybe pleasure. Anyway, I'm in there. I like the quiet, the solitude. Sometimes when I'm in there, no, every time I'm in there by myself, I chant mantras, and I chant them reasonably loud through every cell in my body, because that's my passion. Did a course on the weekend. That's another video. Courage to be you. They talked about the fulfillment formula, and in that they talk about your passion and your talent. And my passion is self-awareness, and then I've grabbed a hold of yogic physiology or philosophy or psychology to understand my self-awareness. And along those lines, it's the tantric philosophy. So I've grabbed a hold of the Sanskrit alphabet as my passion. It's less abstract. Actually functions. It's real. It's got a purpose. Anyway, I'm chanting this mantra in the sauna. Some guy comes in. He sits there for about a minute. And I went from chanting loud to chanting softly. And he sat there and he goes, "Do you mind?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Can you stop chanting? I like peace and quiet." Of course I'm going to get offended because it's my passion. I think there's nothing wrong with chanting softly as compared to maybe people talking about the football, something like that, politics. Some people talk about a lot of subjects that aren't relevant to me in there. Anyway, I got a bit pissed off. I thought, fuck you, mate. But then I stopped, right? I didn't want to keep going, like, he already rained on my parade. So then I chanted in a way that's non-verbal, mental. So I'm chanting quietly, and then I looked at him and I said, "Would it be different? Would you tell someone to shut up if they're talking about the football?" He said, "Oh, no, I wouldn't." I said, "I'm just trying to understand how big your desire for quiet and peace is." Then I just kept quiet for a bit longer. And the experience went on. Just quiet. So he got his way. That's cool. I like him to be happy too. And then we talked a bit more about peace and quiet. And he said, "I think it comes from me, from my dad forcing me." So he opened up a little bit to be vulnerable and tell me where it came from. He said his dad forced him every Sunday night as a child to listen to the ABC at 6:30. They listened to classical music. And he said, as if he didn't offend me enough already, he said, the classical musicians were eternal, and they the way they composed music was so on song that they could the tone, everything that he listens to now that doesn't have a beautiful tone and sits on the music and rides it, he finds irritating. He said, "Oh yeah, but there's other people that have presence, and like Joe Cocker, who's like just this essence, but sometimes he's off key, but he's still awesome." I said, "Well, we have a rule in my house that if someone's singing, you're not allowed to tell them to stop, because there's enough killjoys in the world already. And if you're singing, it means that you've like got heart joy and you're spontaneous in the moment." So we shared that with each other. And then I thought, I've got to turn this around because it was getting a bit tense. So I said, so what's your passion? He said, oh, swimming. Oh, first of all, he said his grandkids or his kids. I said, well, have you got one for yourself? Your own passion? He said, oh, yeah, I like swimming. I said, what's your talent? He said, swimming. I said, so you're pretty skilled at it? He said, yeah. I said, are you like Michael Phelps and like got this genetic predisposition to just being awesomely shaped for swimming? He said, well, actually I am. Plus I've used a few different techniques to be able to become better at it. And I've been interested in swimming for my daughter's sake. They throw around these terms like 2-beat, 6-beat kicks. So I said, oh, I was wondering about these 2-beat, 6-beat kicks. When do you use them and when don't you use them? And then it went into this 10 or 15 minute dialogue. Like 5 minutes prior, he said that he's getting out in a couple of minutes so I can have the sauna to myself so I can chant to my heart's content. And this was like 10 or 15 minutes after that. So he didn't leave because I tapped into his passion. And then he went on to say this like 10-minute dialogue that just went on forever. And I was like all ears because I wanted to hear, because I wanted to be educated in the techniques of swimming, because my daughter wants to swim quicker. So he shared his passion with me. And before that, right at the start, when he told me to be quiet, or he requested me to be quiet, I said, oh, sorry, we've got to go back to the initial experience, because I was quite confronted by him asking me to stop singing mantra. I said, oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I think my dad's been diagnosed with lung cancer. I've just been chanting mantra because the mantra is designed, the word mantra means transcend the mind, and I've been trying to still my mind because of the sadness that I've been experiencing. So then it went on to the ABC conversation, and then I plugged into his passion and his talent, and then the 10-minute dialogue. And then we got out of the sauna at the same time. I couldn't stop him from talking. All the while, I'm sitting there going, oh, this is a lovely interaction, and I'm being aware of the presence in my heart and trying to shower him with love in the experience and also be peaceful in myself. So then he had his shower. We introduced each other and knew each other by name at the end. And he was telling me about some other person to do with like a 100-year-old guy who been swimming and went to the Australian swimming team and got included in this contest for over 100s, in between the 100 and the 103 age gap, and how he went to try out for some carnival thing and ended up breaking some world records. And then he left, and he's closed the door, the gate to the sauna area, and I'm in the shower just getting on with it, thinking, oh yeah, that didn't end up too bad. Give myself a fist pump for being like, turning it around from being irritated into one of being aware and talking about his passion and embodying love. So I thought it was alright. And then as he's departing, he said, Omji, make sure you look after your dad. And my advice is, don't leave any questions unturned. If you have any questions for the old boy, he didn't say old boy. He said, if you have any questions for your dad, you make sure you ask them. He said, all the best, Omji. So now me and Marchie, we're boys in the hood, bro. Ended up a really beautiful experience, and there was compassion and eagerness and love. So I just wanted to share my experience in the sauna today, and how through the work I've been doing in regards to being a more mature embodiment, I was able to turn around my own state of mind and emotions or feelings related to my state of mind into a more positive experience, which was really beautiful for me. So it really ended beautifully with a lot of compassion and mutual acknowledgement, and I thought it was good. So there you go. I love the sauna, and that's just one of the experiences there, and that was one today. So I'm a bit vulnerable at the moment. Hopefully my dad's okay, and he gets the right treatment and it's okay, but he's going into a different rite of passage for himself, and I'm transforming into another experience in my mid-40s through another rite of passage. So it's all just, and it's all a really beautiful experience, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Mahadev, Hara Hara Mahadev, Hara Hara Mahadev. Thanks, share the world.